Accidentally. Hi, Tiffany. Thank you for joining today. I wanted to give us a couple minutes to connect, but I accidentally hit the go live. So let's just get started.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So tell us where you're from and what your story is, and how did you end up in PA? I know that you're not from PA, so I just want people to get to know you and to connect with you. So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was actually born in PA. I was born in Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
My parents, when I was a month old, moved to Texas due to the lack of work around here. And I was
Okay.
raised there until I was 26. And when I moved back here in '06 with my daughter, um, so I've been here ever since.
Okay. So you moved back when you were 26?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So, I know this is like a real passion of yours, self-defense.
Yes.
And how did this all get started for you? Where did that passion come from? And are you willing to share your personal story around that?
Sure. Sure. So I was 12 years old and I was assaulted. And my best friend at the time's mother wanted me to go to self-defense class with her and her daughter after that
Okay.
event. And so I went, and I ultimately stayed um, doing it for all these years. I was lucky enough to meet my instructor who also had a similar experience, and he basically wanted me to learn every style known to man to make sure that I didn't have any problems in the future. And so I
Okay.
stayed with him up until I'm still in contact with him for he's like 80 years old now, but I'm still second in command with him. So ultimately I will take over
Wow.
his styles and stuff.
Wow, that's exciting. Okay,
Yeah, that
so
is
yeah, that is awesome. What does that mean, take over in command? Is that like a pecking order in the martial arts?
so. So when I was 17 years old, he and I and another lady that was part of our group started a federation, which basically we had people under us that we would teach and train, and other
Mhm.
schools. I guess when I say other people, I mean other schools that were under us, and we would educate them and promote and have tournaments and those type of
Mm.
things. So we have our own federation and our own style that we created together.
So in this self-defense class that we're doing for a couple hours together, you're you created a whole federation to do this?
Yeah, it's a federation. Basically, what the federation does is they oversee the schools and like
Mhm.
provide support as far as belts and ranks and those
Okay.
type of things. My instructor was the lead of that. Obviously, he's like a 10th degree now, but he was in
Mhm.
charge of that.
Okay, so
It
I didn't
allowed,
know
it allowed,
that.
yeah, yeah,
That is awesome. Okay, so
yeah. I
you're
don't
from
necessarily
PA.
guess everything.
Yeah. All right. So, I learned two things. This is so fun to do this interview with you. So I didn't catch before that you were from PA, you went to Texas, you came back, and then you had
Hmm.
this um situation that propelled you to take care of yourself, and this guy trained you in every style possible,
Hmm.
and then you
Hmm.
created this federation together, and there's three of you in charge of it.
Yeah, there's just him and
Mhm.
I at this point
Okay.
in time. It kind of dissolved out a little bit since that, but basically it's him and I.
Okay.
There's black belts that are under us, but for the most part, it's just him and I.
Okay. So I've had a little bit of Tiffany's self defense in a fun situation. We were at a retreat, all promoting ourselves, and she really touched my spirit with her style, and so I I'm curious if you could tell everybody a little bit about the style of self defense, because a lot of times, if I have this correct, a lot of people think you're going to fight, like fight a man, fight and stay to the end. Could you tell us what
Right.
techniques and what you're trying to achieve in the few hours we have together?
Okay. Well, first of all, I've taught self defense since I was 16 years old. Women's self defense specifically. Like I would take the women out of the group and teach them. I trained with men my whole time, just so you know that.
Mhm. All right.
But the women's self defense, a woman's not going to stand there and fight against a man blow for blow. We're just not.
Mm-hmm.
There's no. Um, you just can't. The goal is in true self defense is to get yourself out of the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to get released from whatever hold they have as quick as you can to get away from the situation. A lot of, I'm probably getting in trouble for saying this, but a lot of the schools that teach self defense, they don't teach release techniques. They basically, tell you to block or punch or
Mm-hmm.
kick. And I guess to a degree you do a little bit of that, but my teaching that I teach self defense, like the first class would be to teach you how to get out of the basic grabs as simple as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many techniques that I could
Mm-hmm.
show that would demonstrate that quick release, because the goal is to quick release and run or get away from the situation, be able to get back in your car or
Mm-hmm.
find somebody that can help you. That's truly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fighting. You're not standing there fighting the person that's harming you. You're getting out of the situation as true self-defense. And I've always, I've taught a lot of styles. I've taken a lot of styles, and it's always these 300-pound men that are fighting and beating a girl that's 150 pounds. That's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily the case for me, but I'm just saying, like, there are that's what normally happens.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
you're not going to sit there and go blows with that person.
Right. And that helps ease it
Yeah.
because, well, I want to go into the styles and techniques first. Like, I know
Okay.
from experience, you're going to do something like if someone grabbed you by your ponytail, you're going to help us how to be aware of
Right.
getting in and out of our car. Or if somebody's attacking you in the
Right.
car, there's techniques. I mean, you don't have to disclose them in this. If somebody came up and pointed a gun at you, you're going to show us techniques for that.
Right.
Um,
Right.
if someone grabbed you, if somebody was choking you, she's gonna you have techniques for all of that. What else am I missing? If
Right.
somebody kicks you or has you on the ground, you have techniques for that. If they're on top of you, right?
Right.
You showed
Right.
us techniques for that.
How to use mace
Um,
properly. Like
okay.
there's so many
Mm-hmm.
things that are shown in the demonstration that most people
Okay.
wouldn't think.
Mm-hmm.
What things that you carry on you that can be
Mm-hmm.
used to protect yourself in the event somebody came up on you and you were unaware. But awareness
Right.
is the biggest key for women, awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of women
Okay.
don't think about that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
until you're grabbed, until you're attacked, until you're assaulted, then we
Right.
change our views, right? Then we know, oh, I have to be aware.
Yeah.
But until then, a lot of times that's
Mm-hmm.
not the case. So like
Right.
being aware is like one of the number one self defenses that you can have,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
you know.
some questions that I have. Um, what if someone feels self-conscious about their weight, or they think that they're too old, like they're too heavy, they're too old to do this? Basically, if somebody was saying, do I need to be somewhat fit or a certain body type, or do I need to be a certain age? What if I need a hip replacement? What if my knees hurt? What if I know I have fragile bones? Could I still come and learn these techniques?
No, anybody can learn these techniques. If you're two or if you're 102, you can do these techniques.
Mm-hmm.
None of this is going to be out of a range of anyone. You can
Okay.
a lot of these techniques, like I said, are things like even if you had disabilities, you could
Mhm.
use these techniques. I mean, you might modify them just a tad bit, but the
Right.
release techniques are the same things. You're gonna,
Mhm.
you're going to hit the points where that you're supposed to. A lot of
Mhm.
these techniques aren't taught at a basic level. They're normally taught after black belt, and normally like a
Mhm.
fourth or fifth degree black belt, because it's like they're you basically in most styles you punch and kick until you get fourth or fifth degree, and then they start showing you a little bit of self-defense, but most of them don't know any true self-defense, so they don't teach you
Mhm.
you know
Right.
but anybody can do it. We're not going to be high kicking and punching, and
Mhm.
it's just not that type of class. I'm truly
Mhm.
going to teach you how to release and how to go against certain parts of your body to get
Mhm.
released from that. So you're I mean,
Okay.
you're not going to be headlocking and striking. That's the with punches. You're just not. Women
Mhm.
should never punch,
Mhm.
in my opinion, because it's not going to get you anywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Okay.
we want to release, we want to get away.
All right. This is exciting because I think this reaches every level. And Tiffany and I agreed that a younger adult that's mature from 14 and above can attend this class. And
Mm-hmm.
she would do a younger crowd, a younger uh, individual. And this is a woman's only class. So if you are a male watching this and you want to send your wife or your mom or your daughter, that's perfectly fine. We are not including men into this class to make women feel comfortable and confident in learning some things. I have a
Mm-hmm.
couple golden questions, and Tiffany and I, chatted before we did this interview a couple weeks ago. And I have a question. I'm sure our listeners would be interested in this. But have you ever used this in real life for yourself after your first incident? Did you ever find yourself using these techniques in some manner?
Yeah, I have. When I first got my yellow belt, I was, like I said, I was like 13 or 14, and I was on the bus with this kid, and he kept touching my face, and he was trying
Mm-hmm.
trying to bully me. And I pushed him around and choked him, like just naturally, just did that, just at a yellow belt level. Now, mind you, my instructor taught me every style, so at that a yellow belt at my level was pretty intense, but you can do it. Like it's just naturally, it's the training of the brain to be cautious and
Mm-hmm.
um, to learn the technique. And once you learn it, it's embedded. I mean, like I go to sleep sometimes just thinking about techniques. I don't really want to, but it just happens after doing it for so many years.
Well, I think that's exciting for people coming because they're not just getting somebody who's every once in a while. This is a real passion, and we're going to be in front.
Hello. Okay. Okay. Just stay in the. Do I just stay in here then? Okay. Okay.
are. Okay, so um, we were talking about some of these nugget questions I had for you. And I made sure that Tiffany wasn't prepared for some of these, even though she begged me to be prepared, which is fun. Um, so she's used some of these techniques in real life in different situations. I have another one. Do you think you could, let me see, I want to make sure. Oh, has anyone that you've instructed ever used these techniques and reached out to you and said, oh, this really helped me and had a story to share with you?
Yeah, I've had several. The main thing is, I mean, even with their husbands at home, they went home and worked with their husbands. I had their husbands grab them and be able to release from them, and just that basic knowledge that they were able to do the technique. Uh, they could remember the technique, which is a lot of times when you're learning stuff, that's the
Mhm,
biggest thing, is being able to remember.
mhm,
Um, but a lot of them, the self awareness that I teach of the surroundings, their
mhm,
car, that's really where a lot of them come back to me and say, look, I was able to take myself out of this situation, not only because I recognized and I took your class, being aware of getting in and out of the car,
mhm,
because that's really an issue right now with the trafficking and um, that's going on in our society right now.
mhm, mhm. I know
So
that's
self
the,
awareness.
yes. I know that's the benefit I got. Yeah, I'm way more self-aware, even though I always felt like I was to some extent. But the techniques that she'll be going over, that I've used them every single day, every time I'm out. So
Mm-hmm.
I have one other question. I know you're going to be like, no, she did not ask this. But do you think you could get away from your teacher that taught you this? Like, what if your teacher lost his mind at 80, he's super strong, and he grabbed you or did something? Do you feel like you could use, like, your teacher knows the techniques, you guys created them together, you've had decades together? Do you think if your teacher did something, you could get away from him?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Definitely. I mean, when I came through the ranks, we had to do these techniques in a matter of seconds. I mean, like I
Mhm,
was held to a higher standard than most of the people that were coming through, and it's because he kind of looked at me as his daughter, and so he,
mhm,
you know, I didn't get to take the test and not have to fight five people. Like I
mhm,
had to fight the five people. Like I had to throw them, I had to throw them to the ground, I had to choke them, I had to fight them on the ground. Like I had some major
mhm,
intensive train classes,
mhm,
and this isn't a time that where self defense was not cool for women to do. I mean, women, it wasn't, it was a masculine thing. It wasn't a feminine thing to do. So it definitely
mhm,
wasn't in a time where um, it wasn't cool to do, right? But yeah,
mhm,
I can fight as needed. I don't
mhm,
fear that. I don't fear not being able to protect myself. Um,
mhm,
but having the passion for women's self defense and training women and children, even children, how to
mhm,
defend themselves, um, and the other community, the LGBTQ community. I want to train them. I want to protect them
mhm,
also, so that they have done those trainings to help
mhm.
them also. Um,
What is it
so
different
I
in
mean, I
any
have
way?
passions for. No, it's basically the same thing. It's the
Okay,
same
alrighty.
training. It doesn't matter
Okay.
the techniques that I do. It doesn't matter if you're tiny, you're 400 pounds, you're uh, extremely tall or
Mhm,
extremely short, or it
mhm,
doesn't matter. Like you can do these
mhm.
techniques. You're 80
Okay.
years old. My 83-year-old mother-in-law took the class and she was able to do the techniques and successfully.
I love that.
And I mean, I was even impressed with
Yeah.
that because she was 80. she's 83 now. She was 82 when she took my class,
Right.
and she enjoyed it, which she's not the type that would
Mm,
enjoy it. And she happened to like really enjoy it, which surprised me. But
right.
again, we're taught,
Yeah.
I mean, their generation was even different than our generation about it. But,
Right.
it's like I said, it's a
Aw.
class for women. It's made for
Mhm.
women to support women.
Mhm. Yes. Awesome. So I feel like we've gotten the best information. If somebody is, thinking about it, bring your loved ones, bring your friends. This is going to be a fun class. It is outdoors. We're trying to, keep it early in our day. We know heat might be a factor, but you'll have some indoor relief, and we'll even do it undercover. So we'll meet whatever elements, even if it rains, we will still have the class because I have backup plans to do that. Is there anything else you feel like you want somebody to know that would be a deciding factor at all?
Just come have fun. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it can be fun. It's serious, but it's not. It's you want to learn this. You want to bring your friends. I think they'll be surprised as far as
Mm-hmm.
what the class is. It's probably something they've never
Hmm.
seen before. In
Yes.
my opinion, I don't know of anybody else
Mm-hmm.
that teaches um,
Mm-hmm.
how I teach. Just to come and have fun.
Yes. Yes, that's the one golden nugget I left out was fun. Fun is my middle name, and Tiffany definitely brings that element of fun and excitement and passion for your own life and how to get yourself out of any situation. But most importantly, she's teaching how to not even get into it, and if you are into it, she's going to teach you ways to get out of it. And they are brilliant. They almost seem simplistic, like, oh, why didn't I think of that? She took
Mm-hmm.
like decades of training and wrapped it all up in a nice bow for us to learn from. And that's what passion's all about. So she is still going
Mm-hmm.
strong with it. And we'll leave all the information. I know Tiffany teaches outside of in other avenues. So definitely, if you want further training, she is available for that. And we'll make sure that all that information gets to you, even if you don't come to the class and you can't make the class date. We'll make sure that you can get in touch with Tiffany for sure. All right. And is there anything else that you're thinking about? And are we wrapping it up and saying, "C'est la vie"? And we'll see you on that last Sunday in July.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tiffany, for joining us.
Yeah.
I
Thank you
have
for
one little
having
thing
me.
I do. Tiffany's shy. I wanted everyone to know that. Just because if you're, it's not about being like this bold person all the time. She said, I'm shy. I don't want to do this interview. So I just want to say you did great. Thank you for entertaining me and doing the interview. I think it's just important that people see you, connect with you, connect to the idea. They just see an image and they're just like, oh, maybe. But honestly, you don't want to miss out on her. She's amazing. And I'll see you on that last Sunday. Thanks so much, Tiffany.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right. Let's see. Are we done? I think I got to put my glasses on.